This is Ireland in the summer of 2013. This is the GAA. It's clear why this sport matters to us. We love it because it's ours. Our brothers, our sisters, our friends, and our games. But something is changing. The stakes have always been high, but these days the levels of commitment required at the top flight of Gaelic Games are unprecedented. Players are now training up to 6 and sometimes even 7 nights a week, all in pursuit of the Holy Grail. This summer we followed 4 top-level players on and off the pitch in their pursuit to climb these steps. These are their stories. From the extremes of physical and mental dedication.
It is an important part in people's lives, and I suppose it's an important part in my life.
To the challenges of returning to everyday life.
We're nearly institutionalised as regards who we are and what we are.
It's much easier for the players because we're the ones in the limelight, we're the ones playing. Your partners have so much, it's so hard on them.
So what happens to everyday life, career and relationships when you've given your all to the game? For Lara Corbett, Anna Geary, Mikey Carton and Owen Cadigan, Gaelic Games have given them everything from personal fulfilment to a connection with those who follow them. But their commitment to sport has also shaped and influenced their everyday lives. Lara Corbett is a case in point. On the pitch, now a 32-year-old veteran facing his twilight years, he'll forever be remembered for scoring 3 goals in the 2010 All-Ireland final. Off the pitch, he's a publican in his hometown of Thurles, taking the difficult first steps as a novice in the business world. 2013 began on a positive note with Tip reaching the league final against Kilkenny, but things didn't exactly go to plan.
Well, this isn't exactly what you've come to see, but Lara Corbett and the goalkeeper Owen Murphy getting in a tangle. A red card, and Lara Corbett has been sent off.
Facing a ban and a few weeks on the sidelines with a couple of broken ribs, it'll be a race against time to be fit for Tip's Munster Championship opener against Limerick.
I think that in sport there, whatever happens, if you get a red card or just say if you are sent off, I think you do have to park all these things and you do have to forget about getting sent off. So, whatever happens, happens. And I suppose you play the game at such a level as regards you have to play it at a competitive edge, and you never really know how far that's going to get you. Sometimes you go over the line and sometimes you don't. And if you go over it, you go over it. You have to accept it. For the last week there, things have been going very, very well. Back training a full week, but I'm after missing a month. So looking forward to tomorrow in training. It's going to be the last kind of physical training session before the match on Sunday. As regards championship is where it all starts, and this is really what it's all about. We're here at my mum's house. This is where she minds all the gear. She looks after us, and so this has been going on for years. I've been coming back up here when I was living here every Tuesday, Thursday weekend, 5 days a week. Gear comes up here, and the mother sorts it all out. And
everything has to be in its place, because if it's not, he's shouting, "Ma, where is this?" or "Ma, where is that?" So he has them there at hand. Well, the setup is as we have to keep the shorts in one compartment, the socks in another compartment, the jerseys over here. Keeps the helmet, keep the yellow helmet especially, as his trademark.
I know it might sound cheap and it might sound as 32 years of age, my mother said watching the gear, but it's just a system that we have, and I think it works for both of us really, so we get on very, very well, and I think it works together. So if there's a thing missing, she knows it's missing, and we get a good crack and a good banter. Plus I like calling back up to the house on a Tuesday and a Thursday, because I'm after moving out when I got married last year, just with Elaine. So I like calling back up and we have a bit of crack and a bit of banter. And this is just another aspect of it that we continue doing really.
It's all over, and Tipperary have won the All-Ireland.
It's a formula that has brought success, but when Lara made a decision to open a pub after Tipperary's All-Ireland win in 2010, he found out just how difficult running a business can be.
The public got excited about what happened. We all got excited, and maybe we thought we were a little bit better than what we were. So we have to come back down off that bubble very, very quick, and it doesn't be long coming back down when you have to go back playing with the club and you have to go back playing with Tip as well, and things aren't going as well. Well, the biggest mistake I would have made was in 2010 and 11 when we got involved in the pub. I thought putting the name over the door, Lara Corbett, Tipperary after winning the All-Ireland, scoring 3 goals, getting hurler of the year, I thought it was simple.
Huge one down towards Lark Corbett. He's got it. He's scored. Brilliantly caught by McGrath. On to Lark Corbett. Nobody's able to stop Lark Corbett. And it's finished in the back of the net. And there is another one for Tipperary. And Lark Corbett has got a hat-trick.
I was never ever as wrong in my whole life as regards how tough it was going to be to get involved in business. I didn't really understand the recession because I didn't have to. I was working for a guy for 10 years. My wages was there every Friday. That was grand. I didn't really know where the money came from every Friday. I didn't really care either, but I knew it was there. When I got involved in the business and I got involved in the other side of things, my wage wasn't there every Friday because we had to make sure the staff's wage is there every Friday. And to be honest, the hurling was suffering. I didn't really know what to do. I couldn't juggle both. One had to give in. I had to take a step back from it because if not, I suppose we did look at it and say that we wouldn't have survived. We couldn't see it surviving. At the time, people were saying that Larry, you're after retiring. I used to hear this, you're retired. I never ever mentioned the word retire. I didn't retire. I just couldn't juggle both because the demands of the GAA player at the minute is very, very high, and the demands in business is very, very high. They're pulling so hard against each other all the time that everyone demands more from you. But at the end of the day, if you have to pick between work and sport, work and financial has to win, because you just can't just play sport and not look after the people around you and not actually be able to live.
27-year-old Owen Cadigan has gone back to college this year in the hope of building a career in strength and conditioning. The former dual star has also made the difficult decision to play just one sport for Cork this year. Choosing football may have been an obvious choice after their All-Ireland win in 2010, but things haven't panned out quite how he'd like them to, as he also begins his season on the injury table.
You know, when you're out on the pitch there doing your own sort of drills, I suppose it's just yourself and your own thoughts, so I suppose it can be difficult from that point of view. Your mind is typically racing as to how long more you're going to be, am I going to miss the next championship game, and you know, it's constantly push for time, really thinking away on your own, doing those drills. Like, you really have too much time to think, because there's times, you know, you might doubt yourself, especially when you're out on your own.
Go. Left.
I suppose the injury was picked up against Donegal in the National League, 16th of March. I suppose it's just the date that sticks out in your head, because since then you haven't really been back playing. I suppose it was innocuous enough, really. I was chasing Michael Murphy 10 minutes in the second half, and I just felt something go on down low, and you know, the game was kind of in the melting pot at that stage as well, so kind of bit my tongue and kind of got on with it. It wasn't until we got the scan on the Monday realised that, you know, there was a tear in it.
It's going to be doing a lot of rehab and a lot of modified training, but it takes a hell of a lot more than to be championship fit. Yes, even when he's back fully training with the guys and involved in A versus B, which are high intensity down here, and the challenge games that we would have arranged between now and the Clare game, I would be hopeful that he would be up to the level that he needs to be at to face a team like Clare in a Munster Championship game. Yeah.
There's times that I'm not always going to be the happiest camper to deal with, I suppose. You know, as a player, you just want to be getting back out there, and injury is frustrating for anyone who has picked up injuries at times, and the longer it goes on and the more niggly it is, the more frustrated the player tends to get. And I suppose from my point of view, this has been the kind of longest stint I've been out, but in saying that, I know that I'm on the right track, and you know, I'm doing all I can, and Colin's doing all he can to get me right, so you know, it's kind of good to know that you're nearly there.
Owen's hard work pays off as he starts the match against Clare and lasts the full 70 minutes. Cork win by 9 points and make an encouraging start to the championship season. 2013 began with a bang for four-time All-Star Anna Geary after winning a first-ever All-Ireland club title with Milford. The Cork Camogie captain balances an evening course in public relations with her full-time job in Dell. This juggling act will be put to the test this season, with Cork rated as serious All-Ireland contenders.
So I'm just leaving work there now on my way over to Bikram, trying to loosen up my muscles a bit, but in this heat I don't know how I'm going to cope with Bikram, but we'll see how we get on. I suppose GAA players are probably professionals playing an amateur game at this stage. You know, every day you're doing something, and people are constantly trying out new things, and I suppose seeking out new ways to be better than their opponents and be better than, you know, the teams that you play against. So, you know, Bikram for me is kind of something new, and, you know, I'm hoping that it'll stand to me and it'll bring me, I suppose, a different level of fitness and different level of concentration. You know, hopefully that it'll stand to me in the latter stage of the championship, providing we're there.
Bikram yoga is 26 postures, 2 breathing exercises performed in a heated room. So over a 90-minute period, you stretch, compress, strengthen all the major joints, all the major muscles of your body. I think a lot of sports people, and included, you know, people who come in, they put this into their routine and their regime so they can add something, and you kind of edge to their training. And they need to improve their flexibility, because if you're not flexible, if you're just focusing on strength, you're going to find that over time wear and tear happens and reoccurring injuries start to happen again and again and again.
At just 29 years of age, Mikey Carton is one of the older statesmen in the Dublin hurling panel. He also has the unenviable task of being one of the only shift workers among the group. Becoming a fireman was the fulfilment of a childhood dream. This year he's hoping to fulfill another in winning an All-Ireland with Dublin.
It's one of them things I've always wanted to be a fireman. It was just one of them things that I grew up wanting to do.
Yes. 664. Yes. Bedroom 1341.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm on the rec room upstairs, so I have to make sure the place is spotless. We always keep it clean though. The kitchen being known as the worst. A lot of work, have to cook for all these lads, and some of them are big fellas, so that's normally the job that no one wants. But we've all been together here in the station for 5 years, the best part of 5 years I have anyway with them, and they do anything for you. Like, they're there for you support-wise. At home, we go to events together, outside work as well as inside work, and it is like a second home to me, so like, we're all very, very close-knit here, like, so it's great. Keep you well grounded anyway, that's for sure. No, they're great. They come to all the hurling matches, and any stress they can take off you in here, they do completely. Like, they're great support, and they don't miss a game or training wise, and they're always keeping up to date with everything, so you couldn't really ask much more as a group from them. They don't care less who you are. Like, you could be the biggest name in Ireland, in the world, and once you come in here, you're straight to the ground, you know, that way. So it's just very enjoyable coming in here. Like, it's that bit of relaxing. I suppose within the job, you have your good days and your bad days. You do lose patience every so often, but when you do get the chance to save someone's life or deliver a baby, it's worthwhile, and it's a fantastic job to be part of. And as I say, I wouldn't swap it for anything in the world.
Life on the pitch can be just as demanding. Taken to a replay by Wexford, Dublin finally took their chances against Kilkenny at the second time of asking to book their place in the Leinster final. Being an inter-county star may bring you the glory days of playing here in Croke Park, but it does come at a price. The players who sit in this very dressing room don't get paid a penny for their exploits. So you ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it sustainable? And why do they do it? And each of them will tell you it's because they love the game. They just need to find a job that allows them to keep playing it. It's been a difficult 3 years financially, but with the pub now settling down, Lar felt he needed another challenge. For his newest venture, he's hoping to bring fine dining to Thurles by turning this building into an Italian restaurant.
What we have in the kitchen is very, very dark. I mean, with no electricity in the building, has been off for the last 12 months. So this is the kitchen. It's a fairly messy place at the minute, but we do see that we'll bit of a clean up when we get that sorted. The way the restaurant has been left has been closed for the last 12 months, and you can actually see how things can deteriorate so much in actually 12 months, and the work that is actually going to take to get it back up to 100% working order. I don't cook meals. I've no passion really about cooking, but I've definitely a passion about getting this aspect part of the restaurant, getting it all working together. I have an idea in the back of my mind as regards what this is going to look like when we open the door. I know exactly all the small little things we're going to do to get it to a level that will work. I always wanted to do something for myself. I never knew what, and I probably still don't know what, but I like having my own time. I like having ideas that might work, and I love the energy that creates as regards a good idea. If in 12 months' time, that if this restaurant doesn't work, and I can look back and say, I have tried every single angle to get this to a level, I'm happy once I know that I'm after giving 100% of what I'm capable of doing. After that, then I can't control anything else.
The Limerick match has arrived and Lar hasn't won his race to be fit, but he is hoping to play some part in the match at the Gaelic grounds.
There's a very good crowd here on a balmy hot afternoon. Referee Brian Gavin from Offaly gets the match underway. Dangerous moment. That should go over the bar and does. Oh, it's there! And Shawny Tobin gets his third ever championship goal. Opportunity. What about that? Can Lar make a difference for Tip? It's all over.
A shock defeat to Limerick leaves Lar and Tipperary facing into a summer through the backdoor qualifiers.
And John Allen and his backroom team have scored a notable victory here.
Owen has swapped the dressing room for the classroom and has gone back to study strength and conditioning. With no income and precious little free time due to his inter-county duties, it's a move he hopes will pay off.
The last couple of years I probably took a couple of different paths, and I suppose with my involvement in GAA and sport, I decided to go back and go into this course. I wouldn't have been in college or studying with quite a number of years, and I suppose now the fact that you're back and having to study and get your head back in the books is a different aspect of it, all right, but it's hopefully something that's going to benefit me in the long run. And I suppose you see the likes of Jory Flannery heading for Arsenal and, working in the strength and conditioning area. It's definitely something that I hope to, get some experience first off. It was definitely a big step to, I suppose, leave full-time employment, but that was certainly a worry I probably had from day one, was the fact that maybe not having a steady income like that. But I think it's important that, you go after whatever maybe your dreams are, so to say, but, go after whatever you want, really, I suppose. And, I took that risk and I'm thoroughly enjoying the course.
Owen may be enjoying his studies. Anna, on the other hand, is feeling the pressure.
Yeah, unfortunately now I'm down to my last days of my exams. My official exams start on Monday, so it's a case now of kind of cramming, preparing, getting the last few bits done before we start. You're going to have a busy lifestyle, nearly always, no matter what you choose. So I suppose going back to study this year, anytime you go back to study part-time, it's always going to be very difficult, particularly if you have a full-time job and like that camogie on top of it. But I suppose one of the good things that it's taught me, I suppose, and it's really improved my time management. I suppose, unfortunately, I don't really have that much free time. So my friends, my boyfriend, my family, they don't get to see me have as much. With the exams, in the last few weeks, I've been missing a few training sessions. Normally, I'd have kind of a strict enough regime in the summer that I would like to follow, and it has been a little bit hampered with the exam study, but not too much, because it just means that I might have to get up a little bit earlier in the morning and go to the gym or go for a run on my break. Then I'll work until 5, half 5, and then come home, and it's kind of hit the books then. If it's not a project I'm doing, then it's study. So I'm trying to balance my time, and it's very busy, but hopefully we'll get there.
It's match day, and Anna has had to put down the books and concentrate on Offaly, who are looking to derail Cork's All-Ireland ambitions.
People underestimate Offaly, but they've been coming out well in the last few years. I really think we're going to have our work cut out for us. We seem to be going down the right road now, so we just have to hope that we can keep things together and keep training at the intensity that we need to, and hopefully we'll wait and see.
So as Anna's Cork team march on, preparations are underway across the city as the Munster football final is looming.
Cooking a bit of lunch now, supposedly the healthy option anyway. Try to look after my diet as best as possible. Not always as strict as I should be, but I suppose middle of the season now, it's always important to be putting the right food into your system, and I suppose preparing best as possible, you know. I think that we're just so prone to probably looking after ourselves and doing the right thing all the time. It's just, you get used to it, eating healthy, training healthy, doing the right things, and it's not just 2 nights a week anymore and turn up for the game on Sunday. Collectively you're lucky at maybe 2 or 3 nights in a week, but it's what you do outside that yourself makes you probably the better player, or learn from your mistakes, and whether that be on the pitch or in the gym or anything like that. And I suppose it's pretty full on. Like today, I've just gone doing a gym session, you know, 2, 3 times a week, you know, just to get yourself strong. It doesn't work like you have to be working your flexibility, you have to be working on your, you know, your core strength. It's not all about looking big and strong, like it's about being powerful on the ball, powerful running, moving, and, you know, having the ability to get around the pitch. At the end of the day, it's for 70 minutes, so.
Who gon' stop me, huh? Who gon' stop me, huh?
Yeah, who gon' stop me? No brakes, I need State Farm. So many watches, I need 8 arms. 1 neck, but got 8 charms. Who gon' stop me, huh?
Now who gon' stop me? Who gon' stop me, huh? Who gon' stop me?
With the hard physical work done, it's time to put it to the test. And where better to do that than in Killarney against the old rivals.
40,000 people are in the ground right now. As always, the most perfect setting for a monster final. And away we go, match gets underway. Here's a chance, and it's gone over the bar. They are tormenting Cork. This time there is no doubt. This time it is the clinical finish. Kerry win back the Munster Cup and defeat Cork here in their own Fitzgerald Stadium in Killarney.
One of the recovery sessions, one of many during the weeks. I suppose just to clear up any niggles or any bit of soreness. It's also good for your head too as well, just to get down, and it's good for the body. It's peaceful as well here, so it's best of both worlds. It's a couple of days now after the Kerry game, and you know, it's probably been a tough enough week in the sense that, you know, we probably come in for a lot of criticism. Personally, the game didn't go to plan for myself, picked up another injury, but you know, I'm hoping that that'll clear up in a short period of time. I suppose it's about picking yourself up and moving on. We've only 3 weeks now to regroup and get ready again for the qualifiers. If you want to achieve success, there's no route ever going to be easy, and you know, that's the way we have to go, and we just have to push on. Not fresh after that though. Hopefully get rid of all the pins and aches.
Final day as Mikey Carton and the Dubs look to bridge a 52-year gap.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away haven't changed, had much to say, but man, I still think them cats are crazy. The boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. Brilliant goal! That's it. The boys are back in town. Absolutely magical! The boys are back in town. Brilliant play by Dublin. The famine is over for Dublin. This has been a remarkable journey.
Hill 16 celebrates as Mikey Carton and the Dubs claim the Bob O'Keefe Cup for the first time since 1961.
Coming in after the Leinster final was a great experience. I was really looking forward to it, because between going out and enjoying ourselves after the match to coming in here and just speaking about how it felt, and I met most of them coming off the pitch in Croke Park, and I saw the joy in their faces, you know, that way. So for the last 5 years they've been at every game, and we've won feck all really, that way, apart from the league that time. So coming in here was great, like especially with the cup.
I tried to get onto the pitch at the end of the Leinster final. There was no way you were getting onto the pitch. When they came around to the Cusack stand with the cup, I called him and he came out. We gave each other a big hug.
That was like family winning. That's how close that was. We were there. I brought my kids and my wife there, and I don't think I've ever cheered as much in my life. And I go to all the soccer matches, and to be at that Leinster final was unbelievable. You know, it was like my own brother winning.
But life at a fire station can quickly change.
You do come home emotionally shattered sometimes, because especially if you get a difficult case medical-wise, or you lose a patient during the night, or you go to a tragic incident in someone's home. But talking about it helps, and again, you have all the lads here, so it's great help. Like, so everyone has that particular case where they're always going to remember and they're always going to have that effect on you. But I'd always talk about it, and again, have great support at home with my family and the lads here, because they'd all be at the same incident with you. So you're never alone, and you just have to remember that. Like, so we all like to discuss it, and it always helps, the way to talk about it. So it's tough sometimes. Like, no one might realise the next day when you're going training what you've done the night before, but you're not yourself for a day or two, and that's just being honest, that way. Like, and I might have a quiet word to say Anthony or one of the selectors and tell them about it, but that'd be how I'd cope, that way. You mightn't be yourself for a day or two after, but once they realise that, they understand that why you're not maybe going on full training, or you haven't been playing great, or there might be something nagging at you for a day or two, but once you speak about it with them, they understand completely. So, and that does happen. Sometimes to get out in the field's the best thing, the best medicine for you, that way, because out there you're just free. You can take your frustrations out on the ball and maybe someone else the odd time. So it does help, it definitely helps.
While Mikey and the Dublin Hurlers are celebrating a first Leinster title in 52 years and a direct passage to the All-Ireland semi-finals, the backdoor route for the Tipperary Hurlers isn't so straightforward.
When it came up, Kilkenny down in Nolan Park, we were delighted with the challenge. It's really where you test yourself as regards where are you this time of the year.
Another for Larkin, another for Kilkenny. Beautifully across here. Dark Corbett, back of the net. Inevitably.
But it's just another one of those games that it wasn't to be on today.
Dark Corbett seems to have pulled up here and could be in trouble with a hamstring. Kilkenny beat their great old rivals from Tipperary in a wonderful contest at Nolan Park.
It's so hard to know actually what to do, because I suppose the word I'm looking for, we're nearly institutionalised as regards who we are and what we are. Somebody owns us on a Tuesday and a Thursday for Tipperary, somebody owns us for the club on a Friday. You have to do your gym work, there's always an extra meeting. And now there's nothing to do, so it feels like that there's something missing, but you don't know what it is. And because it takes over so much of our lives, everything in our lives comes second when we're actually in the height of it. I was never away for a week's holidays, just say like people go to Salou or Alicante, or just say they go to Spain or France. I was never away for a week because I never got the opportunity. Since 18, has been always club or county for the summer. So now that I'm at home, I'm looking at Elaine and Elaine is looking at me, and we're kind of saying, well, like, it's actually don't really know what to do sometimes because I never had the opportunity before. Don't know what to do.
I think that there'll be a lot of lessons for us to be learned, maybe as individuals, and especially for whoever's gone from their county and club now, how important it is when you actually are there to just say try and succeed and try and perform. And it's the first time that I'm involved with Tipperary since 2000 that we haven't made it to Croke Park, either for a quarter-final or a semi-final. So this year has definitely been the toughest year to be involved with the Blue and Gold and with Thurles Arses, that for both competitions this time of the year we're out with nothing to do.
Well, I'm up in Dublin today for Championship Matters, so not a lot of people know that it's actually shot live, so that's kind of, it's a bit daunting, but I'm looking forward to it. There's a good panel on tonight, so it should be exciting. It's important, I think, for Camogie to be seen, to be on these type of shows and represented on these types of shows. There's a responsibility that comes with it as well, because you know you want to promote the game in a positive light, but you also want to get your own opinions across as well. So it's about striking a balance, I think. Before I even thought about what I was going to say, I think I was probably thinking about what I was going to wear. So that, yeah, obviously, you know, you want to come across and maintain your femininity, but also I think it's important as well to make sure that the most important thing is what you're saying, and you know, people that are watching the show. Yeah, of course, the first 30 seconds are going to be looking at how you know, what you look like and what you're wearing, but after that, then that fades away, and it's about what she's saying, and is she contributing to the conversation, and you know, is she actually adding points of value? So I think that's probably more on my mind now. It's not always about what the media thinks as well. Sometimes players will have interesting points to bring up, and you know, they can be further discussed than in the media. So yeah, it's a good outlet to share opinions, and hopefully my opinions will come across in the right way. It's a great opportunity for me, and I'm looking forward to it. A bit nervous, but looking forward to it.
Cork's Camogie captain, who's about to tee off her championship season. Still Anna Geary battles hard. Yes, a very warm welcome to Owen, Anna and Shane.
Back in Thurles, Lar throws himself into the restaurant, and with just 3 weeks to opening night, he has his work cut out for him.
So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the 8th of August then. Yeah. So there's a lot of work done and a lot of more work to do.
We try to push anyway, you know, just try to push as much we can. Sometimes we work until 4 in the morning, you know, because we really want to start.
We spoke already about just the sport, this and that. This is really after taking in straight away. We've been here the last couple of months. We saw the work the last time we were here. Now we're here again today, and we see the work that the boys are after doing. It's unbelievable. But it's a huge challenge as regards what's going to happen for the next month. So really, really looking forward. As regards food, we said it already, no experience, don't know anything about food. But we know what we like. We know when we go to the cities, what we like. We know when we go to Australia or America what we like. And we want to try and bring some part of that here to make it work here in Thurles. We believe with the boys here that this could happen.
It's more than just the inside that needs work, and unsure of whether they can get Puccini's open by their tight deadline, Lar heads to Dublin to seek some advice from a professional.
I heard you're opening a restaurant.
We're looking forward to it now, yeah. We want to try and do something different, bring something different to our hometown, which is a full Italian, which is not there at the minute. So.
But what I will prepare you for is that, and you might want to hear this, but the first 2 months after you've opened up the restaurant are definitely the hardest.
This is why it's something way outside my comfort zone, but it's a challenge that I've been looking forward to for the last number of months. Yeah. It's all coming together now in the last 5 weeks.
It's exciting.
It's exciting, it is. Yeah. And really what I want to try and do now, I want to get the chefs and the food to come together. And what we're going to have a top-class looking restaurant, but what I need now is top-class food to come on top of that.
I think Lar is going to do it. You know, I can see the drive and the passion in his face, but also besides that, he's actually done his homework on it. You know, opening up a restaurant is one of the hardest things you can do. It's heartbreaking and it's heart fulfilling. But listen, there's nothing harder than winning in All-Ireland. You know, so I think he'll do it. He's got that drive to do it. He'll make it happen.
The restaurant may be Lar's main focus, but local events in Thurles are also playing on his mind. For the first time in over a decade, he's a spectator on a big day at Semple Stadium and not a player.
Just walking in with Elaine there, and Elaine said this is very, very unusual to actually go into a match with you. I think this is our first time actually ever going to actually a match together. Looking at here is actually so frustrating, but it has to give you hunger, I suppose, coming here, definitely for just say the likes of next year's regards, not be in the same situation again, because it is very, very hard to take.
And it's Henry Shefflin that's coming in. And Henry Shefflin is sent off.
I always wonder then about just say inter-county players, when they do finish up, how hard is it just to take a step back? And I'm getting a kind of a feel for it here now, of how hard it is, what it's like not to be involved. It's definitely after igniting something in me, looking at this here today. Look, so if you look at the weather we're after having for the last few weeks, Simple Stadium, Croke Park, it's not going to see Tipperary for the rest of the year. That's very, very frustrating. And especially, we all train and we all play to play in front of crowds like this, and it's just not going to happen.
The Rebels may have lost the Munster final, but they have knocked Kilkenny out of the championship.
Fresh from taking Kilkenny's scalp, the Cork hurlers travelled to Croke Park to take on Dublin in the All-Ireland semi-final. After winning a first Leinster title in over 50 years, Mikey and the Dubs are chasing a piece of history of their own.
What an atmosphere. We expect drama, we expect fireworks, we expect a thriller here in Croke Park. Maguire comes up his goal line. It's a goal for Cork. Patrick Horgan. All-Ireland semi-final is over. Dublin, the Leinster champions, have been beaten.
I still haven't had the guts to watch the game back. Personally, I had an awful game that day, but as a team, like it was a great game of hurling. But I just think they did their homework. They never stopped moving. They played great, and they were fully deserved winners at the end of the game, you know. But we always knew on the day it could have been anyone's game. But we prepared as best we possibly could for the game. So there's nothing else I don't think we could have done. At the time, you think you're doing everything right and you're training hard and we're playing good matches against ourselves, but again, on the day, anything can happen and a few things didn't go our way. And
drama developing in Croke Park. It's a second yellow card for Ryan O'Dwyer. Dublin are down to 14 players.
Like any other year and we won the Leinster title, it's a fantastic year, but it was such a good opportunity for an All-Ireland final, like, you know. And the four teams that were left in the semi-finals were all saying the same thing, and probably when maybe in a month or two, I'll probably think back and say, "Oh, listen, it's great to have a Leinster medal in your pocket," but everyone out there wants the All-Ireland, so at the end of the day, that's what we're all chasing. We actually have a bit of time to ourselves since Dublin's off, so it's hard during the year with our schedules are so manic to actually sit down and eat a meal together. So it's great to actually sit down for once and be able to eat. So it's much easier for the players because we're the ones in the limelight, we're the ones playing. Like your partners have so much, like it's so hard on them because, like for instance, Ciara didn't know anything about hurling before she met me, and now her whole life is based around it. Like, you know, like we can't go on holidays, can't go nights out, even eating wise. Like, you know, certain things, and she has to row in with it because if she didn't, I'd never be able to play every year because you couldn't be coming back and getting given out every second night. So I'm blessed because Ciara's very understanding and my family are great. Like they just support you through anything. So I'm lucky with my base. We'll be counting stars. I definitely think there's an All-Ireland like at some point in the future because after the year we've had and beaten the likes of Kenny and playing them twice and then beating Galway, two of the top teams in the country last year, you have to think there is, like, and there's so much hunger within the panel to go on and succeed. I can't see us not at some point. Like, hopefully I'm around when it happens, but it gives you that drive to go back. You always have doubts, I'm pushing on in age and so many younger lads coming through, but there's that hunger there and the belief there that you're going to come through, and hopefully in the next few years we'll win All-Ireland.
Back in familiar territory on Dublin's north side, the Cork footballers beat Galway to reach the All-Ireland quarter-finals. They've so often made the unending journey from the tunnel to the dressing room to the pitch. And like so many days before, the enemy remains the same.
And the game is on. A place in the All-Ireland semi-final up for grabs. Shoots and scores. And there it goes over the bar, and Cork needed that. And McCauley with a burst of speed, and McCauley! McCaffrey is through! Oh, what a goal from Jack McCaffrey! Jim Gavin's Dublin, who take their place in the All-Ireland semi-final. Cork beaten by a superior force.
Back home on Leeside, Owen is reunited with his hurley ahead of club championship and to blow off a bit of steam with his brother Alan and another former teammate who could also be preparing for an All-Ireland final with the Cork hurlers.
How was the body?
All right, no, yeah, not so bad. You know, it is what it is, and you know, I don't think we could probably have any qualms about Dublin on the day. They were probably better than us, so it's a tough few days afterwards, as you know, and Alan would know as well, but you just have to get on with it, don't you? Back to the club, like.
How's the mind?
It's not good, like, I suppose, as you'd know. It's probably difficult looking at not being involved, like. You know, there is a part of you in your head saying you could have been a part of that, but that's life, like, you know, you have to be happy with the decisions you make, as you know. There's bound to be a small bit of disappointment there, but that's life, like, but...
It's like, the way I describe it is, if you were in love with someone, and you love them dearly, and they broke it up with you, right? Through you, and, you know, after a period of time, you hear that they're after falling in love with someone else, and they're getting married. And then you have everybody coming up to you saying, Jesus, isn't it great they're getting married? Freaking, you know, isn't it great for him? And you're saying to yourself, yeah, it's great for him, but I wish I was part of that relationship.
Right, I think we're warmed up enough now to start again, are we? It's always good to kind of have a change of scene. I suppose it's my first hurling game of the year, probably since last year with the club, so I suppose there's a certain element of probably wanting to go out and kind of show that, you know, just because you put the hurley down for a bit or made a decision that, you know, you don't just forget how to play all of a sudden. I love playing the ball. Next couple of weeks at the club is the most important thing, or the main agenda, and we have a good chance of, you know, progressing on for the rest of the year and getting back with them. I suppose, you know, these guys longer than anyone else, probably since you've been playing with them, street leagues, you know, under 12s, 14s, that kind of way. And, you know, you've got a good relationship. They understand you, and I'd understand most of them anyway. So, like, it's as important as anything else to go back and get the results with your club. I suppose everyone has been saying maybe the last couple of years when you're playing both, you know, what about the injuries, and etc., etc. And this year you're only playing one, and it's injury after injury after injury, which is kind of ironic. You know, that's not to make an excuse. You have to sit down at the end of the year, look how your season went from an inter-county point of view, and, you know, the standards weren't at where I needed to be. Setting my own standards, they weren't near that, and, you know, that's frustrating. And I suppose having those injuries, and you get frustrated in your own head, and it's about, I suppose, correcting them, getting all those problems and maybe issues right over winter, and, you know, coming back stronger again.
So this has to be done before the game. It has to be done the night before the game, not the morning of the game, just in case you forget anything. It's nearly always checked the morning of the game, just in case, but it has to be done the night before. So I know everything is in there, and then it's just a matter of zipping up the bag, putting it by the door, remembering to bring my Harleys, and we're good to go.
No, we've got nothing to lose except everything we have. And I've got nothing to prove, but it's just who I am.
After finishing top of their group in the round-robin stages, Annageary and Cork face a well-fancied young Kilkenny team in the All-Ireland semi-final, hoping the months of hard work and dedication will pay off.
Place in the All-Ireland final on the 15th of September is the precious prize on offer today. Chance here for Cork, and it's gone to the net. They've got a goal. She's got an eye for goal. That goes out to her left, and it's smashed home. It's another goal for Cork. Promising move from Howard. She buries it. Zone has gone in for Kilkenny. It's celebration time for Kilkenny. They're through to the All-Ireland final.
It's hard to try and put your finger on it looking back at it where it went wrong for us, because we started well. We got into the game well, but they just seemed to take over after that, and I don't really think that they ever look back. I remember hearing this word last year, actually, thing with Pat Gurney where someone was saying it's emotional hijack, and I think that is what got to us today. I think the occasion, the whole lot, and I think no matter how many times you've played in an All-Ireland final or big days, you know, you're still susceptible to that possibility that it might get to you. And there's so many questions that you can ask, but they're not questions I would think that should be asked right now. I would always be of the opinion as a player that you need to bottle the hurt and the disgust and the disappointment, and I suppose in yourself more so than in the team. But for now, we're just hurting, and I suppose for me to try and pick myself back up and walk back into Milford and, you know, try to be positive for that, because I'm fortunate that I still have that chance. It started off so positive this year with Milford, and, you know, a dream start to the year, and then getting to be captain, it was just like, I suppose really when you look at sport in general, and there's so many, you know, there's so many things in life that can, you know, affect people, and you put yourself into so much, be it work or be it family, and you look at sport and what it brings to people's lives, and you see maybe hardships that are going on in communities or in families, and they grab onto sport and they hold on to it because it is an important part in people's lives. And I suppose it's an important part in my life, but it's an important part in Milford, and it's an important part in Cork and Mogi. You know, it's something that you pride in it, you know, you take absolute responsibility for it, but at the same time, you know that it means a lot to so many people. So for us, I suppose, it was very disappointing because we felt we left ourselves down. 5 months ago, if you told me that I was going to be walking out in Croke Park with my club girls that I'd gone to primary school, secondary school with, you know, I would have said, let's just win a county and that's all I want. It would have been beyond my wildest dreams to think that I could have won a senior club All-Ireland. The cup belonged to everybody in the village. You know, there was a little bit of that cup for every single person. It didn't matter if it's the person that cut the field, or if it's the person that put out the flags, the person that drove all their kids to training. It belonged to everybody. So at the moment, you know, there's a bit of a lull, and, you know, everything's upsetting because, you know, I should be, you know, minding myself now and doing everything I need to do for the next few weeks in anticipation for an All-Ireland final. But I mean, we're not gone with Milford, and that's something that I'm just going to have to look at now and say, look, you can't do anything about what's happened with Cork, but let's see if you can do something about what happens with Milford. They'll probably be the thing that gets me over the line, you know. They'll be the ones that'll, I suppose, make it all worthwhile again.
was a great buzz leading up to it for the last month, getting all the small things right, making sure that the chefs had everything that they wanted, making sure that everyone in the floor, making sure the decor was right, getting everybody together. We just knew that you only get one crack at it. You get one chance to open the door to impress the customer. So every single thing, you just have to make a decision, but you have to make sure that it's the right decision.
Lara have a lot of patience with us, and we have a lot of patience with him. You know, he's a great man and a good friend too.
Any time that we ever achieved or any time we ever won anything on the field is when we were a team. And they are the qualities that I think I'm after picking up over the last number of years. And I think that's where the overlap of sport and business comes in.
Mafia cocktail.
I can't be under any illusions as regards the hurling gave me the stepping stone, and it gave me the profile to use these and to try and get myself out there. I never thought my wildest dreams when I was working as an electrician, maybe in someone's attic, that the bar would be going as well as going, the restaurant would be taken off. I didn't think that I'd think like that. And when you do come into your 30s and 32 now, you have to think different as regards how you're going to live the rest of your life. What can you provide for yourself and your family going forward? So it makes you think different. And I'm delighted that these opportunities came. And I'm delighted that they're working at the minute. And if a day comes that they don't, well, we'll go and we'll try something else, because I only love the challenge. 3 Munster teams in an All-Ireland semi-final in Croke Park, and Tipperary not one of them. Very, very unusual the way things have went for the last number of years. But we just weren't good enough this year. Things never took off. We just didn't get the breaks when we needed them. I don't want to finish on the note Tipperary the way it ended this year. That I would only love to give it one more go, give it a crack and drive on with the management team. And I just hope to God that we turn on the lights again in Simple Stadium in Croke Park.
So what's been deemed as one of the greatest championships of recent seasons comes to a close. For Lara, Anna, Owen and Mikey, it's ended prematurely as they, like so many other players, watched on as trophies were handed out. But after a summer of thrilling action, we can say few things with certainty. The demands on our inter-county players are at an all-time high, but our native sports continue to thrive against the backdrop of a failing economy. All the while our players give us such entertainment for the price of a dinner. It really is a remarkable part of our culture. Long may it continue.